The rain drummed against the roof of Malik Jefferson's silver Lexus as he drove home from the Riverside Community Center. At 43, Malik had built a respected name for himself. His tech consulting firm employed 27 people, and his monthly community meetings brought together business owners, teachers, and residents to address neighborhood concerns. Tonight's meeting had focused on plans for the new youth center, a project Malik had championed for 3 years. Malik checked his watch, 10:42 p.m. He'd promised his wife, Renee, he wouldn't be late. Their anniversary was tomorrow, and they had plans for breakfast before work. He smiled, thinking about the reservation he'd made at their favorite spot. The flash of blue and red lights in his rearview mirror interrupted his thoughts. Malik frowned, mentally checking his speed, 5 under the limit. His registration and insurance were current, and his taillight had just been fixed last week. Great, Malik muttered, pulling over carefully to the curb. He took a deep breath, turned down his jazz music, and reached for his wallet, placing it on the dashboard where it would be visible. He positioned his hands at 10 and 2 on the steering wheel, the way his father had taught him 30 years ago. "Remember, son," his father's voice echoed in his memory, "when they approach, be respectful, but know your rights. Move slowly. Keep your hands visible." Malik watched in his side mirror as 2 officers approached, flashlights cutting through the rain, creating halos in the darkness. A sharp rap on his window made him flinch. The taller officer, whose nameplate read Reynolds, shined his flashlight directly into Malik's eyes. "License and registration," Officer Reynolds demanded, his voice hard-edged and impatient. No greeting. No explanation for the stop. "Good evening, officer," Malik said calmly, pointing to his wallet. "My license is in my wallet on the dashboard. My registration is in the glove compartment. I'm going to reach for them now, okay? Just hurry up," the second officer snapped. His hand rested conspicuously on his holster. Malik moved deliberately, retrieving his license first, then reaching for the glove compartment. The moment his hand moved toward it, Officer Reynolds tensed. "Hands where I can see them," Reynolds shouted. "I'm just getting my registration like you asked, out of the car. Now." Reynolds yanked the door open, his partner circling to the passenger side. "There's no need for, on the ground." Reynolds grabbed Malik's arm, pulling him roughly from the car. Rain soaked through Malik's suit as he was forced to his knees, then pushed face down onto the wet pavement. His cheek pressed against rough asphalt. "What's this about?" "I wasn't speeding," Malik asked, struggling to maintain his composure as handcuffs bit into his wrists. "We've got reports of drug activity in this area," Officer Reynolds said, searching Malik's pockets. "Expensive car, driving slowly through a known corridor at this time of night. I'm coming from a community meeting at Riverside Center. I'm the organizer. Call Director Williams if you need to verify." "Sure you were," Reynolds interrupted, rifling through Malik's wallet. "And I suppose this is just for community donations?" he asked, holding up the $500 Malik had withdrawn for Renee's anniversary gift. The second officer emerged from searching Malik's car. "Nothing in the vehicle, but dispatch says there was an armed robbery 3 blocks from here. Suspect described as male, black, medium build." Reynolds yanked Malik to his feet. "That's probable cause. We're bringing you in." "What?" "That could be anyone. Check my phone. There are 50 people who can confirm I was at Riverside Center until 20 minutes ago." Reynolds ignored him, reciting Miranda rights as if on autopilot while shoving Malik into the back of the patrol car. Malik's presentation folder from the meeting lay scattered on the wet ground, community center letterhead visible on the papers. "Please, at least let me call my wife," Malik pleaded, watching raindrops dissolve the ink on the youth center blueprints. "She's expecting me home." "You'll get your phone call at the station," Officer Reynolds said, slamming the door. Through the window, Malik spotted his name badge from the meeting, face up on the pavement. Malik Jefferson, Community Chair, printed clearly below the Riverside Center logo. Reynolds stepped over it without a glance and slid into the driver's seat, the precinct buzzed with activity despite the late hour. Malik sat handcuffed to a bench in processing, his still damp suit clinging uncomfortably to his skin. His phone call to Renee had been brief and tense. "Don't post bail," he had insisted. "Call Marcus Wilson." His law school roommate would know what to do. Across the room, a young black man, barely 20, pleaded with the desk sergeant. "I was just walking home from work. My time card shows I clocked out at 10:15. "Tell it to the judge," the sergeant replied without looking up. Matching the description of a suspect is enough for 24 hours. To Malik's right, an elderly black woman sobbed quietly. Her grandson, a college student, stood silently beside an officer filling out paperwork. "Please," she begged, he was at the library studying. His student ID was scanned at 9:47. The officer continued writing. "Ma'am, step back or you'll be charged with obstruction." A white teenager stumbled in, clearly intoxicated, escorted by an officer who spoke gently. "Call your parents, kid. We'll get you home safe. No handcuffs. No processing forms." Malik's jaw clenched as he watched the double standard play out before him. The puzzle pieces clicked together, not a new pattern, but one he was seeing from a different angle now. He had known this happened, but experiencing it firsthand hit differently. 30 minutes later, a voice cut through his thoughts. "Mr. Jefferson? I'm Tanya Rodriguez, public defender. Let's talk about getting you out of here." Tanya Rodriguez was not what Malik expected from a public defender. Her sharp eyes scanned documents with practiced efficiency as she spoke. Her navy pantsuit looked tailored, and her demeanor radiated confidence despite the chaos of the precinct. "Marcus Wilson sent me. I owe him from law school," she explained, sitting beside Malik. "This arrest is nonsense. Matching a description that vague is barely enough for reasonable suspicion, let alone probable cause. They ignored evidence proving I was at a community meeting," Malik said. "My name badge was on the ground. My presentation materials." "I know," Tanya interrupted, holding up her phone. "I've got 42 sworn statements from meeting attendees, plus security footage from Riverside Center showing you leaving at 10:23 p.m. The robbery was reported at 10:19. Malik stared at her. "How did you?" "Your wife is remarkably efficient," Tanya smiled. "And it seems you've built quite a community. When word spread you'd been arrested, people mobilized immediately." For the first time since the blue lights flashed in his mirror, Malik felt something besides anger and helplessness. "Hope. This isn't just about tonight, is it?" he asked quietly. Tanya's expression hardened. "No. I've defended 17 cases this month with nearly identical circumstances. Black citizens arrested on vague descriptions, legitimate alibis ignored, excessive force during stops." She leaned forward. "I've been building a case, but I needed someone with your standing. Someone the media and the mayor can't dismiss." "You want to expose the pattern," Malik realized. "With your help, yes," Tanya nodded. "Not just to free you tonight, but to change things permanently." She extended her hand. "Are you in?" 3 days later, Malik sat across from Tanya in her cramped office, surrounded by stacks of documents and multiple computer screens. The charges against him had been dropped, but they weren't celebrating yet. They were hunting for something bigger. "Look at this," Tanya said, rotating her laptop to show a spreadsheet. 6 months of arrest data. 78% of stops in predominantly white neighborhoods resulted in warnings. In black neighborhoods, 71% resulted in arrests or citations. Malik leaned forward. "And the body cam footage?" Tanya clicked to another screen. "I filed 37 FOIA requests. This is from Officer Reynolds' camera last month." The video showed Reynolds approaching a black teenager. No greeting, no explanation for the stop, the same pattern Malik had experienced. The timestamp showed the teen was detained for 43 minutes before being released without charges. Now watch this stop from the same night, same officer. Another video played. Reynolds approached a white driver, smiled, explained the reason for the stop, and issued a warning in less than 5 minutes. "It's systematic," Malik said, his voice tight. "They're trained to see us as threats first, citizens second." Tanya nodded, pulling up another document. "This precinct has the highest racial disparity in arrests citywide. 3 times more matching description arrests of black males than any other precinct, with the lowest conviction rate. They're stopping people without cause, hoping to get lucky. We need to compile all this. Make it undeniable." Malik stood, pacing. Body cam footage, arrest records, testimony from those who've been wrongfully detained. "I've already started," Tanya replied, determination in her eyes. "But your case is the keystone. A respected businessman with dozens of witnesses. They can't sweep this under the rug." 2 weeks later, Malik and Tanya walked into City Hall. Behind them marched 37 citizens who had been wrongfully detained, each carrying a copy of their case file. News cameras followed their procession through the marble corridors. Inside the conference room, Police Chief Dawson and Mayor Harrington waited, faces grim. The wall-mounted screen displayed Malik's arrest footage, paused on the image of his community center badge lying in the rain. "The evidence speaks for itself," Malik said, his voice steady as he gestured to the thick binder before them. 643 arrests in the past year fitting this pattern. We've documented everything. We're not here to file lawsuits, Tanya added, though we could. We're here for change. Chief Dawson cleared his throat. Every department has a few bad apples. This isn't about individuals, Malik interrupted. It's about culture and training. Your officers are taught to see threats where none exist. To assume guilt based on skin color. The mayor studied the data, her face paling. "What do you want?" "Immediate policy changes," Tanya replied. "Independent civilian oversight. Required documentation for all, matching description, stops. Body cam reviews. Retraining. And acknowledgement," Malik said firmly. "Public recognition that this pattern exists." The mayor and chief exchanged glances. The evidence was undeniable, the witnesses credible, the media watching. "We'll begin implementing changes immediately," the mayor finally said. Outside, rain fell again as Malik addressed the gathered crowd. Behind him, 37 faces watched with cautious hope. The first step toward justice had been taken, but the journey ahead was long, yet for the first time, they weren't walking it alone.